the WNBA at 26 years is definitely further along than the NBA probably was at 26 years. So it's like, all right, the only way to grow it is to tune in, to, go to games, is to support it. So it's like, I feel like a lot of people have like the internet chatter and the rhetoric, and you can only back it up in a couple of ways. So why not actually take time to support it? And then I think the last part too is like actually being in the arena where you get a chance to go is like, I feel like the crowds at like NBA games are like, it's a mixed bag, but I think when you're at a WNBA game, this is a very family oriented vibe. Like I just like the atmosphere of the game a lot more. So, I mean, it's a lot of reasons. I think as more people tune in, I think they'll be surprised at how much they'll probably enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at me. Bench Mob, they're speaking them facts that you wanna hear. Their rep jersey, the vision is clear. Diamonds glisten like a chandelier. You know what I'm here for, like Marshawn Lynch. In clutch time, we do not flinch. Real brothers, we do not switch. Hit home runs with the right pitch. Who run the city? What to do when they hating on you? I feel like Kobe 2010. Taking an L, all I need is a win. Business is business, you know how they go. They glare the seats, now it's time to grow. Tune in now, gotta be in the know. Showtime, bitch, my about to blow.
I ain't seen so now. But she was really, I was trying to tell you.
Bench Mob Podcast. What's up, bro?
Welcome back to another episode of the Bench Mob Ent. We got special guests. He'll be on, we don't know, maybe every month, every other week. But David Thompson is in the building tonight. He has blessed us with his presence on the Bench Mob. How are you doing tonight?
I'm blessed, man. Thank you for having me. I don't know what the cadence is going to be. I'm trying to make it pretty regular. So maybe we could get like a little bi-weekly or maybe like a little every weekly thing. But I'm glad to be here. Definitely enjoying the content you've been making. I definitely consume a lot of it. So I'm definitely glad to finally be here to participate. So thank you for having me.
Much appreciated. So for everybody that's watching this, tuning in, before we even start, make sure you subscribe, like, share it. Tell your moms, your baby moms, your uncle, your cousin, your ex,
everybody
here. Share it with everybody. This episode and what we have Dave on the Bench Mob for, of course, we'll talk other topics and whatnot, but we're definitely going to be focused on the WNBA. It's not a lot of content on the WNBA I don't see. It's not a lot of males talking about WNBA. And Dave, I feel, has a good basketball IQ on both aspects.
I appreciate that. So we came and playing the game together. I feel like we were at one point in time, we were actually the Bench Mob. So I feel like, know.
For sure, it goes back to there. For you, right? So for those that, not really into WNBA, women's college basketball, what about the sport of WNBA has your interest? Like, why do you tune in?
I like basketball. Like, so it's like, if you like basketball, like there's no difference. I mean, there's a difference in the game, but if you want to watch basketball, you're going to watch basketball. So, I mean, for me, I think now too, like as I age, and I want to continue to play, like I kind of model more of my game and what I can do off of what they do. Like I think as far as like the way they actually use their bodies, the way they use their athleticism, like they're not like over relying on it. So I do enjoy the way they play the game. And I definitely want to see it grow. Like, I mean, somebody was saying the other day, like, the WNBA at 26 years is definitely further along than the NBA probably was at 26 years. So it's like, all right, the only way to grow it is to tune in, to, go to games, is to support it. So it's like, I feel like a lot of people have like the internet chatter and the rhetoric, and you can only back it up in a couple of ways. So why not actually take time to support it? And then I think the last part too is like actually being in the arena where you get a chance to go is like, I feel like the crowds at like NBA games are like, it's a mixed bag, but I think when you're at a WNBA game, this is a very family oriented vibe. Like I just like the atmosphere of the game a lot more. So, I mean, it's a lot of reasons. I think as more people tune in, I think they'll be surprised at how much they'll probably enjoy it. But I think it's just, exposing them and having them be open to come into the world and really understand it for what it is.
I think so too. I think a lot of times, and I saw, it was a guy that was low-key went viral on TikTok talking about how he was shocked at coming to the game and seeing I think that's an experience that a lot of people will have. You just got to really pull up to the game and it's completely different. I feel like the fans are more engaged. I feel like you said, it's a family environment. You're not going to get, You don't have to worry about
the drunk asshole with like the beer, like like the hecklers. It's a whole different vibe.
You don't have to worry about Kyrie having to give people middle fingers. Like you good. Like that's not happening at a WNBA game. For you, complete sidebar. I just have to ask, being that I got Dave on the show. What do you think? Where is the possible landing spot for KD Kyrie?
I mean, if they're trying to package them together, I don't see why they don't go to LA. Like, I don't see why they just, I mean, at this point, I mean, AD did what he had to do in 2020, but I think he's let Bron down significantly. And Bron is the kind of person, he takes care of his guys. Like, obviously, you've seen Bron with with K-Love and that whole 2016 Cavs team. So, like, Bron is going to take care of you. I think Kyrie, as much as people are like, as much as the media is shitting on him, it's kind of frustrating because it's like, he didn't miss games last year because he wasn't healthy or didn't want to play. There was a government mandate that got switched. So it was like, obviously they switched it. So it was like, clearly it wasn't something that he was trying to like do. Like he was just a victim of circumstances. So, I mean, I think I can't imagine him not being pretty healthy. But then, I mean, then you try to understand like Kyrie's not going to give you 82 games. Like even the year when they won in Cleveland, I think he only played 53 games that season. So it's like, he's worth the money. Like people got to stop acting. Oh, it's like, cut it out. But yeah, at this point, I don't see why not send him to LA with KD, LeBron, and Kyrie in LA. That ticket, like, give the Staples Center or the Crypto.com arena what they want. Like, LA needs stars. You feel me? I feel like, Anthony Davis, like, LeBron has saved his career 10,000 times. Or like, he got him out of New Orleans. It's like, come to Brooklyn. Russ, come to Brooklyn. Like, if Russ comes to Brooklyn with Ben and AD, all right, you don't have to worry about the talks about coming off the bench no more. You can still be an all-star. Steve Nash can let you do whatever you want anyways. So it's like, I feel like that swap, as crazy as it might seem in like the hypothetical, I think it just makes sense. Like, just give everybody what they want. Like, TV's going to be happy. People going to be happy. Just give everybody what they want.
As a Lakers fan, I would like to see that. That would be more entertaining, and that will give Bron the best chance of possibly getting another ring.
One more, yeah.
Because right now, as currently constructed, it's not it's not happening for Bron.
And the thing about it is, like, the West, like, I mean, as much as people, I mean, Golden State is in a position to kind of do it a couple more times, but like Dallas just got McGee tonight. Got Wood. So Dallas, I mean, even with the loss of Brunson, I feel like they're still in a very good spot to kind of really go back to that Western Conference final spot. Portland, again, Grant, they can make a couple of moves. They just, Simon's going to have a bigger role. So, like, don't sleep on Portland. Jokic just got super maxed out. So the West is still the West. So LeBron really needs all the support. And people, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of interesting when people were talking about like, oh, if Kyrie plays this whole season out and then goes next year, like LeBron is not getting younger. Like, I know it looks like he could still do it forever, but like, this is really the end of the show. So I think people need to really respect his time because like he's going to give you everything with his being. So I think people really need to respect like, yo, this man is still trying to give us greatness, but year 20 is really year 20. So we need to acknowledge that too.
That is factual. Like, bruh, it don't make no sense talking about, oh, just wait till next year. Like,
at all.
This is not year 14, 15 for Bron. We do know he's going to have 2 or 3 left. He's not going to be, I can't see him being on his Tom Brady playing to like 50 or something like that. I can't. Can't see it 45. I can't see Bron doing that. So you gotta win now. It's a win now. Like when he came there, y'all knew the vibes. Like it needed to be a win now mentality every year with Bron near.
What they got it done in the second year? Because the first year they kind of blew that whole team up, and then the second year they got it done through the bubble year. So I mean, they understood the vibes. I mean, but I think that I don't know what happened this past season, but I mean, hey, it's over, and that's the good thing about it. It's over, but it's like they really got to be very strategic about using Bron while they still got him.
So one of the things we talked about was the documentary Dream On. So for you, like, what was your biggest takeaways from that? Like for me watching it, I'm looking at it like, yo, high key, they had more pressure on them than the actual men's Olympic team. Like it was a lot riding on the women. Basically, if they did not win gold and did not win convincingly at that, it'd probably be no WNBA.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, like I think that was the biggest thing I realized too, was like that was really the genesis of like, the shareholders for the league wanting to buy in and, have, I guess, a women's iteration of, the league. And just, I think too, people don't really realize that tour that they went on prior to the actual like Olympics too, like to be on the road for a year, like trying to like put on an exhibition. So like they really gave a lot to kind of like really be the big bang for women's basketball on a large scale. Because even in the doc, they show how many leagues failed and why those different leagues failed. So it wasn't like women's basketball hasn't been trying to get to where it is now. It's just obviously got a lot of idiots trying to market it a lot of horrible ways too. And, you know, obviously just, you know, the times, but no, they definitely, like it definitely put it into perspective, like how, you know, impactful they were for making what's going on for today. So like, you know, a lot of people have to like give them their flowers and, you know, thank them for just everything that's going on right now.
Yeah, you Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, Cynthia Cooper, like the names go, Dawn Staley, like the names go on and on and on. Like
Ruthie Colton, like when you find out what she was going through too, is like, I think that's the thing too, when you realize it's like culturally everything was just so different in the 90s, like how like professional they were. It's like, yo, we didn't talk about our personal lives. We just perform. We perform. So it's like, yo, like to even operate under those circumstances, a lot of people now who want to play the game, or a lot of people who want to be professionals, I don't even think they could handle that back then.
Yeah, and it's still, like you said, it's year 26, and they're obviously in a way better space than when they started off, but it's still a lot of room for improvement. Like,
for sure.
You still got players not getting paid correctly. Like old girl from the Aces, I think the mayor, she got the extension.
Oh, Hamby?
Yeah. I'm like, that's great. That's great. She got the extension. And I'm looking at the numbers though. 2-year extension, $167K.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of them are still making like, you know, 60, 70K a year annually after taxes. It's still like 45K. I mean, yeah, endorsements help, but it's like realistically, it's like, and that's the thing. I'm still, I mean, I get it in real time. Like, I mean, you know, when we went to the game, obviously, you know, tickets are priced a little bit differently too. And it's like, if you're not selling out, I get it. Like, where is the revenue coming from? But at the same time, it's like, there's money. Like, there's money. So stop playing. So nah, I feel you.
Yeah, hopefully it gets to that point where there's what they deserve. Just plain and simple, what they deserve, and traveling. Like, it was just the most shocking thing to me was hearing Candace Parker talk about the travel that they had to go through and how it was tough. Like sometimes they would have to have roommates and sometimes sleeping in the same bed. Like that type of stuff for a professional athlete and a grown woman should not still be.
Yeah.
That can't.
It's like if you want people to perform, you gotta make sure their environment is correct so they can perform. I definitely get like even the Aces. Like when I see a lot of their their videos on social, they're on a bus. Like they're taking like it's like almost like a road trip. So it is I guess some room to go as far as like the accommodations. And I don't know, it's kind of frustrating because like I said, there's a lot of people who have the money to do it. Like just do it. I don't know what's taking people so long to do it. So it is kind of frustrating. I definitely feel them on that because it's like. We seeing what y'all doing over here with the men's game. It's like, all right, like outside the, I guess, you know, the justified money and, you know, the extra 50 years that they had, there's really no reason for y'all not to give us what they got. So,
yeah, hopefully it'll happen in due time. Looking at this current season right here, we're kind of pretty much almost at the halfway point. Commissioner's Cup is going on. Liberty just lost tonight.
Yeah.
What are you looking at so far in this season? Like when we talk about the All-Stars, any snubs you felt was on this list for the starters, the reserves? How'd you see this list go?
I mean, we talked about, I think Alicia Gray should have definitely been an all-star. She's like, honestly, like, I think through and through the league, like, yeah, I have a lot of favorite players, but like, she's like probably like just from a pure ball standpoint, like I love her game. So it would have been nice to see her in the all-star game, but I get it. You know, Dallas is under 500. So it was either going to be Enrique or her. So I get it, but I definitely would have enjoyed to see her. I just think the way she carries herself, the way she plays the game is just, I just like it. So I would have liked to see her there. But outside of that, I know people are pissed off about Diana Taurasi not being in it, but it's like, she gonna get her flowers. Like she's on a whole retirement tour. Like there's no shortage of visibility for DT. So it's like, all right, boohoo, she's not in the game, but like, people are still very much tuned into the Mercury and just her as a whole. So it's like, okay, we'll be all right.
Yeah, I think even the thing with DT is like, at this point, I don't even think she probably want to be in it. Like she's She's been in dang near everything, straight bucket getter. We know who DT is. The fact that she's even playing still at this point and still averaging 16 points a game.
Yeah.
Come on. Top 10 scoring still at 40 years old. Come on. We know DT, give her flowers. It's a big season for a lot of DT. Sue Bird,
Yeah.
Charles. No, Tina Charles is staying. Sylvia Fowles is retiring.
Yeah.
And then there's talks of Candace Parker is thinking and looming about retirement.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm sure she still got more in the tank, but I get it, especially because Candace is like, she got her hand in mad pots. So it's like, it's not like she don't got a career to go fall into when she's not playing. And obviously she's still a mother too. So I understand, like, 36, you won a championship in your hometown. So it's like, she checked the boxes, you feel me? So I definitely understand that. Sue, I got a chance to actually see Sue's last game at the
Liberty
at Barclays. Yeah, so that was nice. Just seeing her get the love in New York and her like going out on a like a high note. They actually beat the Aces last night. So they're definitely I think everybody got what they wanted in that whole Tina Charles situation. Like, I think the Mercury are better now that she's gone and she's happier to be away from them. So it definitely makes Seattle a lot more dangerous going into the back half of the season. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Like you said, there's just a lot of like older vets doing their thing, but it's also a lot of like young bucks coming making a name for themselves as well. So it's just good basketball. It's a lot to watch, honestly.
Facts. Right now at this halfway point, you mentioned it. Who you got winning at this halfway point? It's hard for me because the Aces just so deep, and I can't see anybody from.
I
can't see. That's a lot to deal with.
I don't know, because like as of late, like the top half of the league has been giving them fits. So the Sky have beaten them, the Mystic have beaten them twice, the Storm have beaten them. So it's like they're taking care of what they got to tell. Mind you, they beat the Sparks. It's like, all right, nobody's expecting the Sparks to, but it's like, yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if the Sky, the Mystic, or the Storm really give, or even the Connecticut Sun, like that upper echelon of the league has definitely been giving them fits. Mind you, 5 losses is still not that much, so we'll see what happens. But like, as much as I love the Aces, like I can't just go out on a limb and be like, oh yeah, they're a lock to win it all, because it's like, nah, like in a what, it's 5 games to the finals? Yeah, like I definitely think the Mystic could beat them. I definitely think the Sky could beat them. So it's a lot to still be seen.
Yeah, I just feel when you talk about the Aces, brother, it's just they have so much talent. They should be a lock, but like you said, like Chicago, Connecticut, Chicago's the reigning champs, and it seems like they just know when to turn it on. Candace Parker and the crew, clutch buckets every time from Vandersloot, doing like Chicago is really
Copper, Messerman, like they have a team, like they have a pretty solid roster.
Yeah, Kalia Copper doing her thing, like they're so. It's just championship team. Like they give me just so let's get to the playoffs. But they're actually right now, they're tied right now for the number 1 seed. So they going into it. And if inside the locker room, they noticed Candace last year,
they will go hard.
That's a little bit more. Now you got another ring. And how the Aces are set up though, if they don't get it this year, they in line to be in this conversation for the next 4 or 5.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, Kelsey Plum, I joke, I'm like, James Harden needs to watch Kelsey Plum play basketball to remember who he's supposed to be. Like, that's really, when you see her, it's like, James, you used to do that. Like, mind you, she's like 5'7", 145, but the game is so similar. The step back, and she gets to the bucket, like, at will. Jackie Young, that was the thing. Somebody was saying for last night's game with the Storm, there were like 6 number 1 picks on the floor. Like, I think every number 1 pick between 2015 and 2019 was on the floor. So it's basically like an all-star game. Asia, I think she's going to be MVP again. Because she nobody can do anything with her. Yeah, like she's really giving people fits. I just think they're a fun team. I think Camby.
That team is so deep. She really, if she was on like, let's say she was on Seattle, like in a Stewie situation, Breanna Stewart, she probably could really go average 25, 15.
Well, she's averaging like 18.
That's what I'm saying, but that's crazy. 18 on that team. With that many options. Like, she's playing a lot of selfish ball. Like she's playing that 18 is within the system.
Not for sure. I mean, shout out to Becky Hammond too. I'm like really enjoying her finally have the opportunity to be a head coach. Because what the Aces before they came to Vegas, they were the Silver Stars in San Antonio. So it's kind of like full circle. But yeah, I honestly think Hamby is like the X factor on that team. And there's some games where she's really, really good. And then there's just some games where it's just like, Erica, what are you doing? So I feel like it's frustrating because I feel like it's just the consistency with her. So I think she kind of like dictates in a way like how well they do or don't play. So I think come postseason time, like just her not being in foul trouble, her being engaged is going to kind of determine how far they go, honestly.
So the second half, leading into it, before we close out, what's the biggest storyline you looking forward to the second half of the season? We're obviously not there yet, but we're getting close to the All-Star game, Commissioner's Cup. What is the biggest storyline you're looking forward to?
I mean, I think I'm really just enjoying like what's going to end up happening with the Storm and the Mercury post this Tina Charles situation. Like I said, like everybody seems very happy. Like the Mercury seem very happy that she's gone. And they're also like on a pretty big winning streak. Like they're kind of climbing in the standings. But then Tina Charles to a team like the Storm, like that's crazy. Like you said, you got Stewie, you got Sue Bird. They have
my favorite.
Drew Lloyd.
That's one of my favorites. Drew Lloyd is one of my favorite players, bro. Oh my gosh. Too tough.
Yeah, so I think as they figure out what to do with that, with her in the roster, I think that's the thing I'll probably keep an eye out for. But yeah, I mean, the game as a whole too. I'm also looking for like how everything kind of picks up in the NBA season post All-Star break too. Like I'm just looking forward to the games to just get a little bit more intense. Like that Aces Storm game, like that was like a playoff worthy game, and then the Mystics game too, like that was a very, very intense game. So the Mystics, they beat up on the Dream earlier in the week as well. So I know Tasha Cloud was pretty pissed off that she was an All-Star. She was also somebody who I thought got snubbed. She's probably one of my favorite guards as well. So yeah, it's a lot to watch. So I can't even pick one particular storyline. Like I'll stick with the Tina Charles Mercury like saga for a while, but my eyes are going to be all over the place, honestly. How about yourself?
I'm tapped in all over the place, but it's funny. This on the same page. I'm really looking to see when Tina Charles ended up going to Seattle. I'm like, all right, this is going to be low key scary because if they're talking about their 7th or 8th seed, having that first round matchup is going to be the hardest, like 7th, 8th seed that anybody's gonna have to deal with Tina Charles, Breonna Stewart, Sue Bird, and her last season, and Jewel Lloyd. They're not going out without a fight. Nah, bro. That's who I'm really looking forward to most, to see how they come together. And I want to see, just because hometown, I don't root for Knicks or the Nets hometown. I root for the Liberty. I want to see the Liberty get back into the playoffs.
I mean, they've been playing well. Like the thing is, like their games are competitive. It's not like they're getting blown out the water. I don't know what happened tonight against the Dream. I didn't get a chance to tune in, but I know the Sky game, like they were in it to the last second until that buzzer beater. And then it was pretty competitive against the Storm when I saw them play. But I don't know. I think they're there. I mean, it's typical New York stuff. Like I feel like it's like New York just has a brand of basketball where it's like, all right, like. You're going to be insane. You're going to be competitive. It's going to be fun to see teams come to your arena. But it's just something about just putting the dots together. I don't know what it is. It just be missing. I definitely know by like year 5, year 6, Ionescu's going to be unstoppable. Like, who's going to be able to do anything with her? Han is like Hanju. Like what do you do with her in a couple years too? So I'm hoping Richards gets healthy. I'm not sure if her hamstring is still bothering her, but she just doesn't look like she's ready to be on the court every time I see her yet.
Didi, that's been her thing so far. It's the injury so far. We know she's a talent. It's the injuries that's been keeping her out. And I just want to see, like, I think everything you just mentioned, right? It's probably a 2-3 year window where we'll see the Liberty put everything together. It would just be a nice story. I'd like to go to the Barclays, see some playoff basketball. We ain't seen it, obviously, from the other team. So I'd like to see it. And I feel if I had to pay, I'm going to go pay to see the Liberty. Especially being that, the other team, the Barclays, is about to be empty over there.
The other team, you can't even say that they're just the other team with Bark. Yo, the thing about the Nets is just like since they moved to Brooklyn, like they've had like this is kind of like a recurring cycle of like just acquisition of really great talent to just underperform to just cycle it out. Cause like, all right, when they signed Williams, and then what they had Williams, Joe Johnson, Paul Pierce, and KG at one point. So I'm like, yeah. So it's like that's a lot of talent to just do nothing with. What I think they were like a 3 seed or a 6 seed, and that was like really. I remember they played Toronto at one playoff series, but it's like to have that much talent and not even sniff like the conference finals. And then it's like, all right, like that core that they were building with like Karis LeVert, D'Lo, like they could have just chilled. They could have just chilled. So it's like, all right.
Kenny Atkinson was doing his job. At this point, hey, I'd beg that man to come back. Steve, you go ahead.
He said he's cool in Golden State.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, the Hornets tried to hire him, and he was like, nah, I'm cool off that.
He saw Miles Bridges' Instagram, was like, nah, I'm good.
That's so frustrating because it's like, all right, even before the domestic violence situation, the night before free agency starts, bro, the night before, it's like, what are you doing? It's like, but then I can't get down with no professional athlete doing lean. It's like you're not a rapper, dog. I mean, you can rap, like you can make all the music that you want in the world, but what's the justification for you double cupping it up when you're a pro athlete, dog?
Bruh, I saw this tweet and it was the realest thing. They said a lot of people strive to get out the trenches. Miles Bridges is trying to get in the trenches.
Like, I mean, I'm praying for him. Hopefully he's able to I guess, rectify this situation and kind of get like a second chance, but like 100 M's on the table for you, dog. You gotta be focused. That's the thing. It's like
that's what I'm saying. He 24, so I'm sure prayerfully, like he'll be able to make this back.
No, for sure. I mean, I think even to circle back to earlier, just like even just watching the doc earlier with like all those women, like just how locked in and how focused they were because of the purpose of why they were playing. I think that's something that like this generation of players trying to like kind of struggling with. Because it's like, all right, there's so many avenues. It doesn't necessarily have to be ball. Like back then it was like ball or bust. It's like ball or we got to go to a whole nother nation. So it's like the purpose of the games were so much more meaningful. Like I'm hoping some more of that comes back into it. Cause it's like people be forgetting, like everybody thinks, Michael Jordan is the shoe brand or Michael Jordan is the endorsements. Like Michael Jordan became Michael Jordan because he was winning first. Like winning takes care of all your problems. So yeah, so hopefully things get better, but we're gonna see.
We see that across the board. I hear Mike and Kobe every time I see any player that's going through stuff like this, any athlete, whatever sport. MJ and Kobe both said it. Take care of business, whether it's on the football field, the court, the soccer field, the baseball. You take care of business right there. Trust me, you can do whatever you want. Whatever you want after that.
And then Dennis Rodman is proof of that. It's like, so it's like, yeah, winning matters first. I mean, these guys will figure it out though. But it's just frustrating because I feel like there's enough like historical evidence of athletes making mistakes that these guys don't have to make the same mistakes. I think that's the frustrating part. It's like, yo, there's a lot of people that you could go look at, so you don't got to make that mistake over again.
Yeah, you don't have to go down this road too, bro. Like, trust me, there's a lot of people you could just go watch and their story will tell you like, all right, let me not mess this up. Especially, that's what was so crazy. We were in between recording and we had to live get our take like, wait, hold on, what? What did we just see?
Yeah.
Arrested. We were literally like, I couldn't even post the clips because literally we were just saying like, oh, Miles Bridges gonna get the bag. Charlotte has no choice but to sign him. That's LaMelo's boy.
On second thought.
Before I get you out of here, Jalen Brunson, 4 years, 104. 104. What do you think about this for New York?
I think it's very New York of New York. I think they try their best to be super disciplined and wait to get like a super big star. But even when you understand like the behind the scenes of like Brunson and like his ties to the organization, I guess it makes sense. It's not horrible. Like I'm not gonna shit on it. Like it's nice for for Barrett to have a backcourt mate, and you're definitely getting the ball out of Randall's hands a lot more. So there is some good there. It's just really hard to understand the new NBA market for what somebody's supposed to get paid, because it's like, all right, you're not going to really be mad about 27 and a half annually for a guard when Bradley Beal's about to get 51. So it's like, it's just really hard to understand what you're supposed to pay anybody right now, especially, and the cap is going up another like 11 mil next season. The luxury threshold is like extra 30. So it's hard to say. And I'm not one to like say somebody shouldn't get paid. Like, I'm happy when anybody gets paid. So I'm never going to knock it. But it does feel like a very traditional Knick thing to do, to just kind of spend really big on like a guard who's good but not great.
Yeah, I think Jalen Brunson is a good fit for them, but that's not like it's not changing. We're still talking about possibly playing with this signing. Big ups to him. I'm glad this man got paid. I think it'll be better for him personally too. You don't have to watch Luka pound the ball out and then wait to get the ball. Cool. It's great for him. And like you said, this is a great time to be alive to be these NBA athletes, because I'm not going to say Brad Bill shouldn't get paid that money.
No. But like,
that's a lot of money for no playoff and what
conference finals. Yeah, but he's the second $250,000 athlete ever. Like him and Jokic. It's like, I mean, Jokic obviously he earned that money, but it's like we're crossing into a new threshold of contracts. It's like, all right, what's it gonna look like 5-6 years from now? People will begin. But God bless him. God bless him.
Hey, exactly right. God bless him. Yo, that's the episode right there. And y'all already know the vibes. You know how we end every show. If you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. Bench Mob Ent. We out. We don't know when we're gonna do another one, but trust and believe
it'll be sooner than later. Like I said, we the OG Bench Mob. So I got time. I'm around, and I love hoops. So you can find me, man. I appreciate you having me. And yo, make sure y'all tune in with this man is consistent. His content is amazing. If you love the game, please tap in. Like, you know where to find him.
Appreciate it. All God on that one. Yo, peace.